Now time for the Ray Longo Minute.
I want you to punch a hole in his fucking chest. That's what I want.
The Ray Longo Minute. Starring Ray Longo. The John Anik and Kenny Florian podcast.
Oh, the great Ray Longo now joins us live. TJ did everything in his power to put you on camera today. I know you have Skype, Ray. I mean, I'll put it in English. The fuck is going on over there?
You know, John, I tell you, that's the type of English I like. I understood
That's
that
right.
very
I learned
well.
it from you.
I don't know. I'm definitely on there. We're going to figure it out this week because
All right.
I refuse to get my hair cut until you can make fun of my lettuce.
Yeah.
So it's all over the place.
Fucking romaine going everywhere. So a couple weeks ago, Ken Flo was talking about your roof needing repair, and it was kind of like the Anik and Florian podcast to the rescue. Last week we talked about your haircut, and now you got like what, every barber in New York State reaching out? What's going on?
I mean, Kenny, this is amazing. I hope John sends you the text that I got. A big fan of yours was willing to come to my house and cut my hair. So we'll see what happens. But I'm not going to cut it until I'm on Skype because I know this is good,
Right.
good, humor for you, John. So I don't want to deprive you of that.
Ray, I'm just going to put this out here now. Is there anyone who wants to give Longo a Ferrari? Is there anyone out there who has an extra Ferrari that they want to give Ray Longo?
Right.
Let's see what happens.
I tell you, I'm liking this, Kenny. You got a lot of pull out there. I'm loving
Don't
this.
forget about me.
Right. Well, that's because during his career, I used to give him shit for like wearing like stuff that would ever say New York. Or Kempflo's always had a soft spot for New York. He loves New York City, right? And as a Boston guy, I never understood. I don't care what the clothing company is. Like I wouldn't wear anything that said New York on it. So maybe that's why his fan base is so deep there in New York State. I don't know.
What, John? What about Seaford, New York? Would you wear anything with that on? Your father's birthplace.
Hey, I don't want to talk about my dad today. All right.
Can I
yes.
talk to you? I'm going to talk to your father about this. I don't like what I'm hearing out of you. You've just thrown Long Island under the bus too many times.
Yeah, you're right. I actually got to slow that roll a little bit, but. So, Ray, we got a couple things that we have to get to with you in terms of our pound-for-pound tournament. But before we get there, Jacksonville, Florida, May 9th, May 13th, May 16th. Who knows? Maybe even May 23rd. All indications are the UFC is going to be back on May 9th. The Florida Commission is going to sanction the event, obviously, because the governor, Ron DeSantis, has deemed it essential business. And as Dana White has said, ad nauseum, when the UFC comes back, they're going to do so at full force. What are your thoughts on potentially 3 shows within a week in Jacksonville coming up next week?
Yeah, well, look, man, as long as the safety's in place, I think everybody's starving. I mean, for fights, and that card looks fantastic. So, yeah, I think everybody's excited. I just hope it goes according to plan. And, again, I hope everybody's safe and they put a lot of guidelines in force that'll ensure that, and I think let's give it a shot and see what we got.
So Chris Weidman was actually to face Jack Hermanson this weekend in a main event in Oklahoma City. I know Chris has gone public with the different fights and opponents he has accepted since being quarantined. And I also know you're not the breaking news type, but anything for us in terms of conversations with Weidman or Aljo or Raging Al? How soon might we see some of your higher profile guys get back in there?
Well, it looks like, I don't know if this is breaking news, but it looks like it could be Aljo and Sandhagen sometime in June.
Right.
And, Chris, I think they were still working last time I talked to him with Hermanson, but I think he now has trouble getting into the country again. So Weidman's either looking at June or July. That's all I kind of know. I hope I didn't give away too much, but...
Well, no, Aljamain on Instagram is intimating that he's going to be fighting here pretty soon. So that would probably
so
align with what you said
that
about
would be June 6th, then. That would be the date of that.
So, all right, unless Ken Flo has anything on the way out, I want to get to this right now pound-for-pound tournament because basically what we did, given all of this dark space when it comes to the UFC schedule, we're trying to determine the most skilled UFC fighter right now. We have 4 quadrants, obviously, Anik, Florian, Longo, Parker, and in your quadrant, the final 2 fighters to emerge into the Elite 8 are Stipe Miocic, the 4 seed, and Israel Adesanya, the 5 seed. Both guys, at least in terms of our fan vote, able to take care of Tyron Woodley and Dustin Poirier pretty convincingly. So in your mind, I know Stipe's your guy, so this might be a little bit difficult, but in your mind, in a pound-for-pound setting, if all things were equal, who do you think right now is the better pound-for-pound fighter in the Longo bracket and worthy of a Final Four spot? Stipe Miocic, the 4 seed, or the 5th-seeded Israel Adesanya?
I mean, well, you know what my answer is going to be, because, I mean, I got to go with Mr. Blue Collar all the way, Stipe. I think
of course.
I think he's proven himself over and over again as a heavyweight champion, and I think he stands for the right things, and that's where I'm putting my money behind, Mr. Stipe Miocic.
All right, so Stipe is going to advance to the Final Four, courtesy of that Longo nod. And then the final thing for me, right, I've talked to Kenny and my twin brother a lot about children and quarantine and distance learning and homeschooling. So I thought we'd have a little bit of fun with this, right? Because my twin brother and I were trying to figure out, like, if you had to have one kid right now during this time, how old would you want that kid to be, right? Because, Longo, you got your own problems. Ken Flo's got his own problems. If you got a 12-year-old, you got a whole different set of problems, right? Your 14-year-old daughter is smoking weed, trying to sneak out to see her boyfriend, right? So for me, I think I'd want a newborn because they sleep all the time, you know, because I think at every other age going up to 18, you got issues, you know? So I think for me, if I had to have one kid during the quarantine, I'm going like essentially with a newborn who's waking up every 2 to 3 hours. Ray Longo, you got one kid, pick the age during the quarantine. What age you going?
You know what they say, John, little kids, little problems, big kids, big problems. Now I go, you know, listen, I have my kids home right now. They're 23, 24, so at that age is working out good for me. Everybody's doing great, so I'm going to go with exactly what I got, 23.
We had Michael Chandler on earlier, and he was talking about his 3-year-old son, Hap, and here I am thinking, man, my 2-year-old, that's got to be the worst age. Kenny, True is what, just turned 2?
True just turned 2. Yeah, it's been pretty easy with her. I mean, she's pretty easy to deal with, man. She's been great. Yeah. It's been fun.
All right, well, Longo's out the other side.
Nothing's going to get Michael Chandler down. What a great guy. What a
awesome.
positive person, man.
All right, well, Ray, we'll let you get out of here. We'll talk to you next Monday. It sounds like Ken Flo's 2-year-old is just much better behaved and well-adjusted than mine. So
that means his wife's doing all the work. That's exactly what that means. Trust me.
Right, exactly. All right,
you're not wrong.
Hey, sorry for the delay. Appreciate your time as always, and hope you have a seamless week. No major issues there in New York this week for my man Ray Longo. Okay, buddy?
You guys are the best, man. Stay safe, and let's go. I'm excited for the fights.
All right, buddy. There he is, Ray Longo. Next week, of course, we'll be giving you his prediction on Ferguson Gaethje and the rest of this mega card that they have put together for UFC 249. All right.